one. Here we go. What is going on, my friends? Chris is giving me a beat in the back. So I'm going to freestyle rap for us to start this real estate investing Q&A. All right, here we go. I don't even know if they can hear the beat. They can hear it? Go ahead. All right, give me a slower beat, Chris. I'm Asian, so I can't go. I'm not there yet. Yes. Oh, here we go. My name is Daniel Kwak, Kwak. When it comes to real estate, baby, we don't play. Because we're doing this Q&A, it's for real. I'm about to help you get your first deal. So here we're going to do. We're going to answer some questions. I'm going to bring it everything. No question. Yes. So who's got our first question in this real estate Q&A? Because we're going to do this every single day, but only on Mondays at 11 a.m. Central Time here in Warrenville, Illinois. So if you can't make it then, too bad I can't answer your question. I am only available to you for 1 hour a week, right? No, let's be real. You could probably email me at info@thekwakbrothers at any time you want. But what's going on, guys? Do you feel the energy that's here in this place, right? And when I mean this place, I mean this virtual room that we've got going on called YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm using my whiteboard screen today. I'm going to use my laptop, so I'm going to look through my phone for all the questions that you guys have. But tell me where you guys are from. We're going to do the usual thing. Tell me where you're from. I'm going to let you know what I think about that market, because that is the subject for today, right? How to use the real estate market to your advantage, because I think there are a lot of advantages right now in the world of the real estate market that nobody is paying attention to, right? Nobody is paying attention to that. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and look at our live stream right now. Let's see if we got any questions at all about real estate investing. Tell me where you are from. We'll knock out some announcements here in a second, but I'm gonna go ahead and Hans Thorough, thank you. Good morning. Christopher Dorsano said, let's go. Chris is from Chicago. Let's talk about the Chicago market. Let's do some announcements, and we'll go ahead and we're going to address today's topic, which is real estate investing market, which by the way, guys, a lot of you people that are out there in the world, in the online sphere of the real estate investing game, right, such as online forums, such as other different educational platforms, right? Here's what nobody talks about. Nobody talks about reading the market as a real estate investor. They always talk about some strategy that only works half the time. They only talk about the how-tos, the technique. And I'm not saying those things are bad, right? That's why you guys are here. That's why I'm here, to share my techniques, to share my love for the game, right? But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Imagine if the strategies and the knowledge and the different techniques you learn, they're like your weapons, right? They're like your AK-47. They're like your 12 millimeter pistol. They're like your shotgun, right? They're like your bazooka, right? They're the weapons that you carry into battle, right? The more weapons you carry into battle, the better. The more creative acquisition strategies you learn how to do, the more weapons you have for different scenarios. But here's what people don't do. They don't study the market. You know what the market is, guys? The market is the battlefield in which you carry these weapons into, right? This is the battlefield that you carry your techniques, your strategies, your knowledge, your team, right, into. And I'm going to be using that analogy over and over and over again, because I know there are very few people that actually start this live stream and they stick around till the end. Right? They start the live stream, they stick around to the end, right? That's how I pay attention, right? And I pay attention to who the regulars are in this live stream, right? We have our analytics team and our marketing team that looks into who are the regulars. I pay attention to that, guys, right? I can tell who's going to be successful because they have the discipline to stick around and watch the entire hour. And I love that. I love those people's energy and their drive and their love for the game. Right, so I'm going to be using that analogy a lot. But let's talk about the Chicago rental market. Now, there are three different types of market in each area. And I don't think I've actually covered this at all before, so I'm excited to cover this concept. there are 3 different types of market in every single area. We've got the primary market, right? Or AKA people call that the preferred market. So what we're talking about here in the context of Chicago, right? We've got Chicago, the metropolitan area. That is your primary market, your preferred market, right? So if you've got Chicago zip codes in your deals that you're looking at, you've got a primary and preferred market deal. There's the secondary market, which is the suburbs that surround the primary market, right? Ricardo Montes said energy. That's right, Ricky. The energy is here, right? So we've got the secondary market, which is the suburbs that surround that primary market, right? So if we got Chicago, we're talking about Chicago, we got the suburbs, like, we got Downers Grove, we got Naperville, we got Aurora, we've got Schaumburg, right? We've got Addison, and these different cities that are within proximity of Chicago. That is what we're talking about, right? That's the secondary market. The third one is your tertiary market, right? Your tertiary market is when you kind of get a little bit more away. That's when you would start saying, oh, we're in the middle of nowhere. That's when you would probably start seeing some cornfields, maybe some dry plains. So in the case of Chicago, you'd be going out further west, because if you go further east, you're going to drown in Lake Michigan. But you're going to go further and further west. So now we're talking about places like Plano, Illinois. We're talking about places like Ottawa, right? We're talking about places like Bourbonnais, right? I forget because they're just so far out that nobody goes to them, right? They're kind of just the forgotten ones. No, I'm just kidding. They're not forgotten at all, right? We love you people that live in tertiary markets. We don't even know who you are, but you know exactly who you are, right? If you're watching this right now wearing a wife beater, congratulations. You're in the tertiary market. It's one of the coolest things you could ever be a part of. All right, but check this out, people, right? We got the primary market, the secondary market, and the tertiary market, and your cap rates are going to be different for each market. What do I think right now about the Chicago primary market? I think it is better than most primary markets. We've seen a lot of foreign money being pulled back. They're not willing to invest anymore. We've got South Korean money that's been pulled back, that's been dried up. We've got Indian money that's been pulled back and dried up. The Chinese are not doing business with the United States anymore. They're not investing in real estate. So you got a lot of large institutional buyers that are going back into the metropolitan area. As a matter of fact, if you go to Chicago right now, right, you'll see a couple of large hotels being built. You'll see more construction than usual. If you go to a lot of different metropolitan cities, predominantly that's what you see. I was in Dallas this past weekend for the Mastermind Domination event. I got a chance to be the keynote speaker, which if you were there, man, what a great time. We had a phenomenal time. We had phenomenal speakers, right? Shout out to Bryce McKinley. Shout out to Matt and Caleb Maddox, right? Shout out to Jerome Maldonado. A lot of love for all the other speakers, for Nadine, for Jawan, right? Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. I had a blast. Sammy and I had a fun time speaking on owner financing and raising capital and sharing deep techniques that a lot of people don't get access to, right? So we had a great time. I was in Dallas. I was driving around Dallas. The amount of new development and construction that's going on in Dallas is incredible, right? It is absolutely incredible. I think it's every market right now is kind of a good place to market, right? And that's okay because the money is cheap. We're going to talk about that today. What does it mean when the money is cheap and the market is rolling, right? Rolling and rolling. We're going to talk about that. Secondary market in Chicago. I also love it. The only thing I don't like about your primary markets and your secondary markets in Chicago right now are the taxes, right? The taxes are a little scary to me. Matter of fact, I looked at a deal. I was underwriting a deal in the secondary market of Chicago. It was a little place called Markham. I was underwriting a deal about a year ago, and the gross rent, guys, was $384,000. The taxes, however, were $140,000, right? Somewhere between the 130 to 140 range. I looked at that number and I freaked out because that's 30% of your gross income going to taxes, right? And we're not even at like maintenance. We're not even at management. We're not even at utilities. And we're already at 30% expenses, right? So that number kind of scares me a little bit. So I decided to back off a little bit and chose to invest in out-of-state and further secondary markets in Illinois. Tertiary markets in Illinois right now, I absolutely love. Why is that? Because Illinois has a plus 3.3 population increase. A lot of people living in Illinois are like, no way, Daniel, that's BS, because so many people are moving out. That's very true. A lot of people who make $75,000 or more a year are moving out of Illinois. Why is that? Because the tax law got passed to where we can only deduct only $10,000 in our property taxes. Now, if you guys do not live in the following states, California, Illinois, or New York, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Why? Because we've got large property taxes, right? Guys, I don't live in a mansion. I don't think a 25-year-old should live in a mansion unless your name is Justin Bieber. But I don't live in a mansion, guys. I live in a 4-bedroom. It's a nice house. I'll give you that, right? But my taxes are $85,000 to $9,000 a year, right? It's a lot. If you live in a $500,000 house with 5 bedrooms in a nice place with a good school district, you're probably paying around $15,000 a year in taxes. You're talking about $5,000 that's just going to the wayside, right? Going to the wayside. And a lot of people are sick of that. So we have a lot of people who make a lot of money in Illinois. They're moving out. Therefore, our luxury market right now is struggling. It's very difficult to sell a house any more than $300,000. I got a good friend of mine whose sister is trying to get rid of a house. She listed it for $1.2 million 3 years ago. Now she's begging for it to be sold for even $750,000, right? That's the state of the Illinois luxury market right now. So I love the tertiary market in Illinois because if we have a lot of these rich people moving out of the state and a lot of these luxury homes aren't being bought, but we still have a lot of people that need housing and they're in the tertiary and secondary space, what does that mean, right? What does that mean, guys? It means that we've got a lot of people renting. It means we got a lot of people that are paying rent. And fun fact, out of that 3.3 population increase, the biggest group is millennial immigrants, right? Millennial immigrants, people, right? That's what the study shows. That's what the data shows. And that's what we're going to go with. So Chicago market. Thank you, Christopher Dorsano. Is that Dorsano? Christopher Dorsano, right?
It's Dorsano.
It's Dorsano. He's right here, guys. Boom, surprise. It's like the WWE when like the surprise wrestler comes in. It's Christopher Dorsano, everyone. The place is going wild, right? Okay, cool. Hans Thurl, Cali Market, LOL. I think you've got your answer right there. It is LOL, right? Okay, we got the Sue Fox from Southern California, drawn to commercial. Love the energy, gentlemen. Thank you so much, the Sue. That's what happens when I get back from an event that I spoke at. I just get really energized, and I get energized by people, right? I love people. Sam get energized by numbers. I get energized by people. I love hanging out with people. I love doing stuff like this. The only thing that I really dislike about this arrangement is that I can't see you guys, right? Like I wish we were all in a room, and you guys were right in front of me sitting in chairs. I'd be able to draw off your energy and just really go, right? And just, there's something about having people around me that brings the best out of my brain, right? But nevertheless, you guys are still getting my best. I still love you all, and it's cool, right? You guys are all around the country. We're able to mastermind together through this comment section. Okay, cool. Come up to Milwaukee. Yeah, I think Milwaukee's a good market as well. Milwaukee in many ways is a lot like Chicago's younger brother. And Benke 101 is probably going to hate the fact that I said that because people in Milwaukee hate Chicagoans who call Milwaukeeans their little brother. But in many ways, it is true, right? But I love what's going on in Milwaukee as well. I love Milwaukee's secondary market. As much as you don't get the higher rent as you do get in places in Illinois, I'm still a big fan of the Milwaukee real estate investing market. I think their year-to-year change in rent, I'm a big proponent of that. It's also a market that a lot of people are not attracted to. It's also it's a market where a lot of big industrial, real estate funds are not going to as well. And that's strange, right? I don't know why Milwaukee kind of just gets kicked to the curb, but whenever I go to these real estate events or real estate masterminds with high-level real estate investors, nobody talks about Milwaukee. They're always talking about Texas. They're always talking about Florida. They're always talking about, different cities like Charlotte. Charlotte's a big one that a lot of high-level real estate investors are talking about right now. I don't get it, man. I don't understand why people don't invest in Milwaukee. I really like it. I really like Milwaukee. I think it's a great place to invest. Pam Taylor said, hello. Hello back to you, PT. I hope you are doing well. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. Okay, let's get some announcements. Oh, by the way, guys, give this video a thumbs up, please. I see 26 people watching right now. If you guys could give this video a thumbs up, that would help me with my self-esteem and my confidence. And I need that because I'm getting married in 4 days. That's right, people. Your boy is getting hitched in 4 days. I'm super excited. But give me a thumbs up. I would love that. Not because I need it, but because I would love to feel the energy between us and the crowd. And like I said, guys, I get more energized when I actually see a crowd of people. It brings the best out of me. So whenever I see a large thumbs up button, that helps me with the juices in this crazy brain of mine to be able to think more techniques, think more value to provide to you, right? So it's ultimately my way of saying, help me help you, right? Let's have a good relationship in which you and I, that's right, random thumbs up person, that you and I could work together so that I can help you and you can help me, and we can all just grow together, right? We can just win, right? There's hardly any sport, right, that you can actually win without having good teammates, right? It's like football last night, right? Like Patrick Mahomes let me down. He was my quarterback in fantasy football, and he only got me 18.5 points. What is that, right? I'm just kidding. I love you, Patrick Mahomes. If you're watching this, which I 100% believe that you are, because you want to invest in real estate and become one of my lenders. I completely understand. It's okay, man. Hope that ankle feels better. But Patrick, thank you so much for being here, right? There's 26 people online. There's 7 billion people in this world, meaning there's a chance that Patrick is watching this. So thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so let's go over some announcements. So as always, guys, we got our free owner financing course down in a link in the description below, freeownerfinancingcourse.com. That's something that I put together with my brother and also my friend Steve Hamilton. Something we put together for you guys, a free 90-minute course on everything owner financing. So we talk about the taxes surrounding that. We talk about how to negotiate for owner financing, the benefits. We cover a lot of really good stuff. So check that out in the link in the description below. And also, this video is brought to you by PropStream. And I love PropStream, guys. It's a software that I use every single week, every single time I analyze a deal, look for a deal. And let me say this, guys. I don't know if you guys ever heard me say this about PropStream, but I've used a lot of different real estate investing softwares before, right? I'm not going to name names, obviously, because of confidentiality, but I use a lot of different real estate investing softwares. And as a guy that travels a lot and listens to a lot of these different people and shakes hand with some people in this industry, and as an observer of this industry as well, I've seen pretty much all the real estate investing softwares that are out there. Guys, the biggest thing that PropStream has over every single one of them is how accurate their information is. All the other real estate investing softwares I used, I ended up verifying and skip tracing the information for myself. Most of them are right only 60% of the time, right? But PropStream, guys, they're right 100% of the time. Every single time I verify the information that's on PropStream through looking at the public records and they are right 100% of the time, right? So much love to PropStream. We do have a special relationship with PropStream. So check the link in the description below, guys. It should be rei.thekwakbrothers.com if I'm not mistaken. But check out that PropStream software. It's going to be absolutely helpful to your real estate investing business. And their price is also the lowest that I've seen. A lot of different real estate investing softwares charge, $249 a month. They charge $497 a month. Guys, PropStream only charges $97 a month, And in my opinion, they're the best software out there for real estate investors. So they're charging the lowest price I've seen, but they're delivering the best amount of value, right? The most amount of value. So guys, check that out if you want to increase your real estate investing business. But if not, no problem, right? More properties for the rest of us. Okay. Let's go to today's topic. Well, if anybody has any real estate investing questions, please ask right now or forever hold your peace, which they're going to say that again in 4 days, right? But any real estate investing question you guys want, guys, check it out. Oh, Sunny Day asks, how about Indianapolis, Indiana? So my neighbor, my fellow neighbor to the east, Indiana. So I actually did some studying on Indianapolis because I actually looked at a couple deals there. I love the fact that, so I love northeast Indiana. I love northeast Indiana. I do not like southwest Indiana. I think you should avoid southwest Indiana. Anywhere else, I think it's pretty good. I love the Indianapolis market. I think it's a lot like investing in Chicago without the crazy taxes, right? And I love Indiana's landlord-tenant laws. I love a lot of their municipalities. I love the lower tax rate, obviously. But I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Indianapolis right now. I think it's a good place to invest in. I think for the rent that you get, I mean, it's granted it's a little lower. I think the rent that you get for the property that you buy, I think it's one of the best ratios in the country, to be honest. So thumbs up on Indianapolis. But as always secure long-term financing because that is extremely, extremely important. Can I get a water, right? If that's, I could, I could. But these lights, man, they're crazy, right? I feel like I'm being studied by, supernatural, paranormal entities, Sweet. I'm glad I caught that water bottle. Just like how Sammy Watkins made no catches last night because he was put on injury reserve 20 minutes before the game, right? Got me 0 fantasy points. Gosh, I just love that. All right, cool. Okay, all right, let's continue this train, people. All right, any additional questions, guys, on real estate investing before I get into the topic at hand, right? So let's go ahead and jump in. And if there's any questions, we'll go ahead and address it. But again, guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I got my digital writing pad here, which Sam always steals from me instead of getting his own. All right, cool. It's working. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and talk about this. And I want to talk about this subject. And again, guys, real estate market. Studying the real estate market is like studying your battlefield, right? And it's a lot like battle. Real estate investing is a lot like war, right? Because you've got your other people on your team that are going into war with you, right? You got your contractors, you've got your partners, your investors, we've got your attorneys, right? Your realtors, brokers, your appraisers, everybody in your real estate investing team. That's like going into battle with your fellow comrades, right? With your, you've got your sniper, and then you've got your infantry, then you got, your I don't even know. I was never in the military, so I don't know all the only thing I played is Call of Duty, so, you've got your other people playing Call of Duty with you, right? But you got other people going into war with you. Well, how are you guys going to win if you don't know the battlefield, right? A lot of you guys focus on the weapons, which is the strategies, right? Which is this, which is that, right? The strategies, guys, are just your weapons, right? That's all it is. It's just your weapons. But if you don't know your battlefield, right? If you don't know whether you're fighting in the desert, you don't know whether you're fighting in the forest, you don't know when you're fighting, in Antarctica, right? It matters, guys. Think about this. Think about when the United States went to Vietnam, right? The United States, for the longest time, right, including this time, had by far the best military in the world, right? And that's how it is today, right? We've got the best military. We got the best military technology. We've got, the best, everything. I think you guys kind of know where I'm going with this, right? But even back then, the United States by far had the best military in the world. We were the most feared military in the world. And yet what happened? They went to Vietnam and they lost, right? They lost the war because the Viet Cong, they used guerrilla warfare. Same thing, right? Back in 1776, when the United States was fighting in the Revolutionary War, right? By far, the British had a much bigger army. They had better weapons. They had more technology. They had better strategies, right? They had better discipline with their soldiers. They had more experience. They had generals who had so much experience in war and in battle, but they still lost. Why? Because the United States, they used guerrilla warfare. They knew the terrain. They knew the battlefield. They knew it very well. So same thing, guys. If you guys have the best weapons, the best strategy, and you happen to have the greatest military in the world, you can still lose because you don't know the battlefield. You don't know the market, right? So let me start off explaining the real estate market, how to read the real estate market with 2 words. And that, my friends, is called monetary policy, right? I love the concept of monetary policy because, well, it's the cornerstone of how our economy works. So what is monetary policy? So in monetary policy, we've got 3 forces, right? I'm going to move a little bit to my left so that you guys can see the full screen. But here's what I want you guys to talk about, right? So we're going to talk about monetary policy, right? Hey, can you actually, can we move the camera so that the right side is not showing as much and we can just go screen and me, right? That way I have a little bit more room to work with. Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris. All right, awesome. So we've got monetary policy. We've got number 1, we've got what's called the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve. And now, guys, there's different types of Federal Reserves that are out there. We've got the European Federal Reserves. We've got the United States Federal Reserve. There's different Federal Reserves. Now, what is the Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserves pretty much are the guys that pretty much dictate how the economy goes, right? Now, they may not dictate it, but they sure have a large influence. They're the ones that really print the money back into the market, right? So they've got a huge influence. Now, the Federal Reserves are the ones that lend the money, right? Because have you guys ever gone down to your bank and they're like, man, where do they get all this money to lend you, right? Where do they get all this money to do these mortgages, to do these commercial loans, to do these lines of credit, right? Well, guess what, guys? They get it from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve lends to the central banking system. And the central banking system loans money out to us in the form of a commercial loan, right, for us to buy apartment complexes, in the form of residential mortgages, which is what, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, right? They just graduated from college. They got married. They both have a steady job. What do? They want a house, right? Because they want to start a family. So they go to the bank. They get the typical 30-year mortgage. And that's how the banks lend to us, right? So this is the trifecta, right? The Federal Reserve gives money to the central bank. The central bank gives money to us. But there's a couple things that people do not realize, right? So right now, the going commercial rate for a commercial loan is 5.5%. If you're a regular Joe Schmo and you don't have a track record, you don't have a net worth, and you don't have strong partners, you're probably going to get a 5.5 commercial rate when you walk into a bank. The Federal Reserve lending rate, right? So what's called the interest rate. So if you go to the Yahoo Finance and CNBC, they talk about this all the time. They talk about what's called the federal interest rate, right? And they talked about how they lowered it from 2% to 1.75% recently. But that's the rate in which the Federal Reserve lends money to the central banking system. But check this out, guys. There's this thing that the central banking system has, what's called a reserve requirement. And for the most part, the reserve requirement is only 10%. That means that they can borrow from the Federal Reserve $1 million at 1.75%. They only have to keep $100,000 in their bank. That's it. They only have to keep $100,000 in the bank, but they could lend out the full $1 million to us at 5.5%. If you ever wonder why banks are so rich, here's the formula. That's the formula, guys. That's why the banks are so rich. It's because they borrow money 10-to-1 leverage from the Federal Reserve at 1.75%. and then they loan it out to you at 5.5% for the whole million. That's pretty bad. That's really bad, right? And they ask you for 20, 30% down instead of 10% like the one they get at the Federal Reserve. So really, in all reality, right, the down payment they give to you, they can pocket half of it into their profits, right? I don't know about you guys, but that's sickening, all right? If you don't like that, learn how you can combat that for yourself. Watch our video on how to pay off our mortgage in 5 to 7 years, right? It's a very powerful, powerful strategy that we teach here at the Kwak Brothers. Okay, but that's the monetary policy that we rely on. Now, what does this have to do with real estate investing? I'll show you exactly what this means. So the Federal Reserve lends money to the central banking system at 1.75%. Then they give it out to us through a commercial loan, right? Most real estate investors, when they want to get a real estate investing property, like a 3-unit, that'd be still a residential mortgage. If you want to get like a 6-unit, a 12-unit, 24-unit, most people go to the bank and they get a commercial loan, or if it's like a 2 to 4-unit building, which a lot of you guys do as well, they get a simple conventional loan. What happens? Okay, well, let me share with you what happens. Let's say that 5.5% becomes 6.5%. And the debt service gets higher that you provide to the bank. So let me redraw this out for you, right? So Federal Reserve, the Fed, 1.75%. The bank, to us, 5.5%. And we got all this properties. All these properties right here, right? Yes. Now, if 5.5% becomes 6.5%, what does that do to our debt service? The mortgage payment we make to the bank every single month. What does that do? That increases it, right? So let me give you an example. So if you guys have a mortgage calculator out, which guys, if you don't have a mortgage calculator, feel free to download Carl's Mortgage Calculator. In my opinion, it's the best mortgage calculator that's out there. I absolutely love it. It's awesome. Okay, so I've got my Carl's Mortgage Calculator. Guys, that's KARL apostrophe S mortgage calculator. I'm going to input $1 million. I'm going to put a down payment of 20%. Put interest of 5.5%. I'm going to do 30-year amortization. Let's actually do a 25-year amortization. Let's say I want to build a little bit more equity up front. So my payment is $4,912.70. $4,900 pretty much. Let's change that interest rate to 6.5%. That's $5,400, guys. That's a difference of $500 a month. And with $1 million, you're talking about something related to a 10 to a 15-unit building. Typically, if you're looking at a Class B complex or a Class C, you're looking at $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year in cash flow. $6,000 a year. If you put that on a 10% cap rate, you're looking at a $60,000 value difference. A $60,000 difference in purchase price, right? $60,000 difference in purchase price. So the higher this rate goes up, the higher the debt service, the lower our cash flow. Meaning, what do we have to do to achieve our cash flow numbers? We've got to offer less for these buildings. We've got to offer a lot less for these buildings. So when people are offering a lot less, the value is what people pay for it. If we're offering a lot less, and that's happening with 10, 15, 30 different investors like me and you, we're offering a lot less. What's going to happen to the value of these buildings? What's going to happen to the value of that duplex, the value of that 24-unit apartment, the value of that 80-unit apartment? It's going to go down. It's going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. Now, here's where the real problem gets, right? So your apartment building, let's say this is a 20-unit apartment complex. Let's say this person bought it in 2017 for $1.5 million. Let's say they got a commercial loan, right? They got a loan, right? And their remaining balance is $1.15 million. Right? Or let's use the better example, right? So let's say they rehabbed it, they bought it, they rehabbed it, right? And they made it $1.8 million. So $1.8 million, they put a little rehab into it, right? Or you know what? Let's give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's say that it's now worth $2 million. Right? They buy the property, $2 million, and let's say they strip the equity out, right? So they bought it, they rehabbed it, they refinance it, right? And they strip out, let's say they strip out like something along the lines of out of that $2 million, I don't know, because let's say they're looking to do it again. They're looking to repeat the process after they rent it, right? Let's say they strip out 1.6 million for that. Let's say that 1.6 million. So they got $400,000 in equity. So they got a $2 million building, and their balance is 1.6 million. That gives them a loan to value ratio of 80%. Now, let's say the monetary policy occurs, right? The rates go higher. And let's say the commercial loan rates get higher as well. And let's say the values start dropping, like I just explained to you it does. If you study the patterns that happen in a real estate market, this is what occurs, right? The values go less competitors, right? And that's going on right now, guys, right? Check it out. That's going on right now. The people that have the large real estate funds are raising money for a reason. The Chinese have left. All the other foreign entities have left. The programs where you buy multifamily buildings for low rates are decreasing by the second. The repo market's going on. They're overinflating the market. So the values drop. Less competitors, values drop. And let's say the value drops all the way to 1.5 million. Guys, I've seen properties drop 70% in value because of what happens in the market, right? The value is what people are willing to pay for it. It's not a figment of your imagination that you have in your brain. It's what people are willing to pay for. It's what the market tells you it's worth, not what you says it's worth, right? It's what the market tells you it's worth. So let's say that it drops to 1.5 million. We've got a problem. Because right now, the amount we owe surpasses the amount that it's worth. And our loan to value ratio goes above 100%. This is a huge problem. And let's say it continues, right? It drops to 1.2 million. Because let's be real, guys, the multifamily and apartment complex market is super overinflated. And that puts you even worse, right? You've got $400,000 in between that you got to make up for. This is where the bank gives you a call. And they say, listen, we're either going to call your note due or we're either going to have to ask you for $400,000. I've seen it happen before, guys. I've actually sat down with commercial lenders and they explained to me this process. That they're going to call their note due, they're not going to be able to refi, or they're going to owe the $400,000 in between for them to even continue their debt service. I've had commercial lenders that work for the top banks in this country actually tell me that out of their own mouth, that's what's going on right now. So the people that buy it, the people that rehab and they refinance and they do it again, they repeat the process, they're in for a rude awakening because they don't know when to invest. They know how to invest. It's a good strategy. They know how to invest. They just don't know when. They don't know how to time the market, right? Let me share with you guys a secret, right? And I don't mind. I'm an open book, guys. I share all my secrets. Why? Because even if I tell people, only 1% of the people are actually going to do something with it. I'm raising money right now. I am not buying any multifamily unless it's off market. That's the only thing I'm looking for right now. It's off market deals. That's it, right? That's the only thing that I'm buying. And I'm going to buy it at a lower price than what many investors say it's going to be worth today, right? I'm going to be a very tough negotiator between now and a year. But I'm raising a lot of money right now because I anticipate a very opportunistic time coming in 2 to 3 years, right? But that's just my opinion, right? Who knows? You know, I don't. That's all. What do I know, right? That's what I think, right? That's exactly just what I think. Okay, so Jade asked, so if the values are dropping now, is it a good time to purchase? No, let them drop even further. So they're dropping by a little bit. What I'm saying to you guys right now is I'm telling you what's going to happen, right? The rates right now are getting lower, if anything. They're dropping, but there's going to be a time where a lot of these bonds that the government has issued out, a lot of the money we're trying to pump back into the market, there's no way we're going to be able to keep that up, right? There's no way there's going to be able to keep that up. There's a reason why the Chinese are not buying U.S. government bonds anymore. As a matter of fact, they're trying to offload them. There's a reason why there's a lot of domestic buyers when it comes to bonds, a higher number than we've ever seen before. There's a reason, right? It's because there's too much domestic inflation going on right now. There's too much of that. And watch, in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to start seeing these multifamily buildings values drop. It's not happening right now. Thank you for the question. I'm glad I'm able to clarify this. It's not happening right now, but it will happen, right? We're in the tail end of apartment complex values being extremely, extremely high. You guys have no idea how many real estate funds that are out there that I am personally friends with, the guys that run these funds, the guys that have 5,000 units, 10,000 units. You have no idea how many of these guys have 20, 30, 40, $50 million in their bank account that they are forced to spend it on. They are forced to spend that money right now. They are, right? They're forced. So they're buying apartment complexes a little bit more expensive than they should, right? So many of them, because there's a limit. They have to allocate that capital somewhere or they're going to lose it, right? You've got a lot of those players out there. So imagine having 5 of those guys bid on a property that's 100 units. It's going to go up, 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 and up, and up, and up, and eventually away. Okay. Let's look at it, see if there's any other real estate investing questions. I don't even know what time it is, man. Oh, it's 11:41. We're almost at an hour, people. What a sad, sad moment. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys for the thumbs up. We got 18 thumbs up on this one. I appreciate it, guys. Let's see if we can hit 20s, right? So if we can get some more thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for the questions, for the thumbs up, for the likes. Manuel asks, when doing a wraparound mortgage, do I have to qualify from the seller's bank, or do I just go to the closing attorney? When you're doing a wraparound mortgage, and for those of you guys that don't know what a wraparound mortgage is, it's when you attach another note on top of the note that the seller has with the bank already. It's when you add it on the back end of the note, right? So I always say do a seller carryback mortgage, meaning that if you're going to do a note and a mortgage after the seller's remaining current debt service with him or her existing bank is over, do a seller carryback mortgage, meaning that you're going to add that on the back end. Well, let me explain to you here because I have the whiteboard and might as well do it. So let's say that the seller has 8 more years with the bank, right? So we got 8 more years. This is 8 years. And the building is worth $1 million. They've got $300,000 left to pay on that 8 years, right? So the seller has $700,000 in equity remaining. So what our friend Manuel is asking is, if I get a mortgage with the same bank, right? So let's say that this the seller has this mortgage with Bank A. Do I have to get qualified from Bank A to continue another mortgage with Bank A for the remaining $700,000? That is what Manuel is asking. What I am proposing to Manuel is, man, forget Bank A, make the seller your bank. So what you're going to do is you're going to create what's called a seller carry back mortgage, which means the seller is going to carry back your literal mortgage. So that $700,000, after that 8-year period is over, you are going to do a seller finance note. For the remaining $700,000 in equity. And you're going to get better terms because the bank, Manuel, is going to give you 5.5%, but you're going to set this up at 4% at 25-year amortization. And you can give a good chunk, right? So the down payment for the seller finance note, you can give to the seller at closing. So, you can give 10% of $700,000, which is $70,000 at closing, meaning you get to control and own a $1 million building and only bring $70,000 to the table. Mic drop, individuals, right? That's that mic drop moment. That's what you do, right? So you're leveraging a leverage note that you don't have to pay for until the back end. So 10% down on that $700,000 in equity is $70,000. You bring that at closing. So technically it's like a subject to whatever it may be, right? Or you just do the seller finance note that's going to cover the individual's debt service. But I'm not a big proponent of that because that means that my monthly payment has to be higher than that person's monthly payment. And that usually kind of handicaps me in my analyzing deals. So hopefully, Manuel, that makes sense to you. All right, let's go back and see if anybody's got more questions. Great presentation on Saturday at the Mastermind event. Thank you, Manuel. I appreciate it. Congratulations, you and Sam delivered the best presentation of the day. I'm going to read that again. You and Sam delivered the best presentation of the day. I'm going to read that one more time. You and Sam delivered the best presentation of the day. You guys were also very energetic and to the point. Proud of you guys. That's what I pride myself in. I love getting to the point. I hate it when other presenters and other investors on YouTube take 15 minutes to talk about themselves, right? When I hear that, I'm like, man, do you want me to just go to Walmart and buy you a cookie? What do you want, man? Right? Like, you want a little pat on the back and tell you did a great job? You want me to whisper some sweet nothings into your ear? What do you want me to do for you, right? But no, I love getting to the point. I love bringing value because that's just what I do, man, right? I love helping people out. I've got a passion for it. It energizes me. I love it. Okay, let's see if we got any more questions. How do you flip wholesale? Where do you find investors? I'm not gonna lie to you, Oscar. I don't wholesale. Unless I'm able to make at least $100,000 on the deal, I don't typically wholesale. Why? Because my mindset and my philosophy is I always focus long term. I'm not a big fan of people thinking and doing everything at the same time, right? I like to be a master of a couple things rather than be a jack of all trades. Thank you, though. Thank you for even asking me that. All right, PT thumbs up. Thank you, Pam Taylor. Thank you, Marlon Howard, for giving me a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much. The Scrambled Life. What's up, Nick? I didn't even have to read the comment to know. I actually am a big fan of the Scrambled Life. Guys, go to the Scrambled Life right now. It's on the comment section right now. Actually, no, don't. Wait till this live stream is over, right? But after this live stream is over, go to the Scrambled Life channel and click on that subscribe button, right? That's one of my very good friends, Nick Redding, a very good friend of mine. I love his soul. I love his energy. Guys, please go to the Scrambled Life YouTube channel after this live stream and subscribe to that channel, right? Please do it, guys. I love his vlogs with him and his family, right? Always puts a smile on my face, and it's awesome. It's sweet. It kind of reminds me of how my kids are gonna look like, because my fiance is Italian. She's a white girl. I am, as you can see, not a white boy. So we're gonna make some beautiful interracial children. Nick is a white boy, and his wife is Asian. So they have beautiful scrambled egg children's. And he likes to call scrambled egg because the yellow from the yolk and the whites from the egg, right? The egg whites, you mix it together, it's scrambled eggs. And that's exactly what my kids are going to be like too. They're going to be a couple scrambled eggs, right? I'm the egg white. There's more protein in me, right? It's exactly what you want to eat. All right, so we're at 19 thumbs up, guys. Let's push it to 20. If you guys can have, if we can have 20 thumbs up, man, that'd be fantastic. That will make my day. I'm able to go to Whole Foods for lunch with a smile on my face, knowing that I got 20 likes today. I'm able to tell Sam, bro, beat that. He technically did beat that last week because we had like a record number of viewers. I'm still a little salty, but whatever. But guys, thank you so much. Any other real estate investing questions, right? I'll take a couple more questions before I leave for Whole Foods to eat my lunch. I'm starving. They have the best fried chicken ever, and that's all I can think about right now, right? So guys, any last real estate investing related questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace, right? Forever hold your peace. And we've got 26 people watching right now. That's fantastic. 21 likes. Thank you guys. We've hit the goal, right? If actually one of you guys could dislike it, that way we could be at specifically 20. That'd be great. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't do that, right? It's bad for our algorithm. We don't want that happening. All right, guys, I don't see any other questions. So if you guys want to ask me any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me at info@thekwakbrothers.com. I'm going to write it here on this whiteboard, info@thekwakbrothers.com. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to check my phone one last time for real estate investing questions. I don't see any. So thank you guys. Have a great week. Much love to every single one of you. I'll see you guys next Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Peace.